argument. They are telling me to call in to buy their product, and first of all, they are projecting as if they don't have enough telephone lines by giving me the suggestion that our operators could be busy and I may not pick up your call.
So that's completely altogether a different perspective, a negative perspective from the on the screen.
Yeah, no, I'm actually making for the people who feel this way. That's number one. Okay, number two is not only that, you're also telling me that if you call me and my phone is busy, I don't have a system to capture your call, like a voicemail or like a number tracker, where I will be able to then call you back. I'm telling you as if I don't give a damn about your convenience, that if my operators are busy, you call back. I'm not going to call you back. Okay, does that sound like two insights in one statement?
Yes, sir.
Okay. But this change worked phenomenally. Okay, it broke sales records. Totally counterintuitive, right?
Yes, sir. Surprised the fourth time.
So what happens in most people's brains when they hear this line, if operators are busy, please call later, is they, okay, let's go to the first line. The first line is operators are waiting, please call now. Most people are visual thinkers. They are going to have a vision in their brains about operators in a call center just cracking jokes or eating food or scrolling their mobile phones or generally lazing around. That's the picture that's produced in their minds when they hear the line, operators are waiting, please call now. On the other hand, when they see the line, if operators are busy, please call later, they think each and every operator is trying to speak a mile a minute, is eager to fulfill an order, slam the phone, and immediately take next call, and he doesn't have time to breathe, and airplanes full of that product are taking off and being delivered to plenty of people across the world, millions of people. Okay, so that is a picture that's being formed in people's minds. So obviously the story doesn't end there. Why should that make a product desirable? It's because of a concept called social proof. You can just think of it as the copycat syndrome. Social proof is just when people copy other people. When people see somebody else, the greater the number of people, the greater the influence. When they see a crowd doing something, they feel that that thing is worth doing. When they feel a crowd is buying a product, they also feel like buying that product because they feel that that crowd has done its analysis and due diligence. So that's called social proof. So do you have any comment on that before I go forward on this?
No, sir, I'm just surprised again.
Okay.
And I request you to kindly proceed with the strategies as well.
Yeah. Okay. And now, to see how prevalent this strategy is, just a minute. To see how prevalent this strategy is, there are lots of examples. You can look at plenty of Apple ads. You can look at plenty of Apple product presentations, and you see that they keep on using this concept of social proof. They keep on telling you about how many products have been sold, or how many clients they have, or how many people have attended a particular session, or something of that sort. You can look at in the Apple presentations. You can look at recent talks by Sundar Pichai of Google. He has sorry. He has a speech of his where he enters a particular stage, and the first thing he says is, "I'm happy to see so many people have turned up in such large numbers." And then he says there are 7,000 people here. Now, Google is one of the smartest companies in the world. Sundar Pichai is one of the smartest chief executives in the world. So they understand these strategies very well, and they implement these strategies in a very, very big way. So that's an example of a company using social proof. Another distinction I want to make about social proof is that it works better in individualistic cultures like India, rather than more in group cultures like India rather than individualistic cultures. India is a country where we are very influenced by what other people do. So we are much more influenced by social proof than countries which are individualistic. And it has lesser impact in individualistic cultures like, let's say, the US and the UK. Another critical thing there is that you've got to be careful in how you use this strategy. One distinction is that people follow people who are like them. So if you are talking to a bunch of small and medium enterprises, you are better off telling them about how small and medium enterprises have used your products and services. Even though you may have, say, Microsoft or Google as your client. You should definitely talk about the fact that Microsoft and Google are your clients if they are really your clients, but then you can maybe add that later. Because a small and medium enterprise guy is more likely to be influenced by the fact that you have serviced other small and medium enterprises. And he might be more impressed by that in some cases, rather than by you having Google and Microsoft as clients. And before giving you the last distinction on social proof, I just want to know if there are any questions on the stage from you or anybody else that we can take right now.
Not right now, sir, but we have questions after the session, so we can continue.
Okay. So I want to tell you one last thing about social proof, and that is there's also something called negative social proof. So, Dinesh Sir, how often do you go to Wikipedia?
Sorry, sir, hello, big bazaar.
How often do you go to Wikipedia?
Wikipedia, sir, almost every day.
Okay, great. So you're a good person to ask this question to. And it's great to get these live examples because it just is something that many people can relate to. I think this has been going on for about a month. At least I have been observing it for about a month. I've also created a separate video about this, and I keep on having invisible selling quizzes on my YouTube channel. So, have you seen some kind of message which is very consistent now? Every time you open a Wikipedia page,
Yes, sir. The message about helping Wikipedia.
exactly, they're asking you for a donation.
Yes, sir.
Do you donate?
Not exactly. I do remember, sir, but
Okay. Yeah,
yes.
no, it's important that you say you did not donate, because my prediction is that most people who would have wanted to donate or who would have donated after seeing the message did not donate.
So I read it first time and I'm sorry, but I ignored it actually.
Yeah, so okay, so in the interest of time, I am requesting you not to go on Wikipedia right now because time is short. But anything you can remember about that message?
Uh, so there were two things I remember. First, they try to portray that how Wikipedia is helping all everyone everyday basis. And second, as far as I remember, they asked for if you want Wikipedia to continuously help you the same way you can help Wikipedia to survive.
Okay, there is yet another message. Do you remember that?
Not exactly, sir.
Okay. So people are welcome to look at that quiz, because I've taken a screenshot of the Wikipedia page and I've asked this as a quiz. But obviously that's only if you want to see the quiz in detail, because I'm going to reveal the answer here. It tells you about how important Wikipedia is. It tells you that we do not have sales people, so please donate. And then it says less than 2% of people who see this message actually make a donation. That is a complete no. It's using the power of social proof against you. It's called negative social proof. If you want somebody to buy a product, or you want them to adopt a behavior, if you want to have a, let's say, Swachh Bharat campaign again, you got to show people cleaning the streets or not throwing garbage, rather than showing people throwing garbage and saying, look at these guys, they're so bad, so you should be good and you should not garbage. Don't show the undesirable activity, because when people look at the people who are indulging in that undesirable activity and they think, oh, this is accepted behavior, there are other people who are indulging in this kind of behaviors, so that gives a certain amount of legitimacy to that behavior. So very big successful organization like Wikipedia, this is a sign that they've stuck to conventional marketing and they haven't explored deeply the concepts of behavioral economics or invisible selling. So just to sum it up, social proof is about people following other people. If you show lots of people using a product, if you show lots of people giving you testimonials on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on Google, on YouTube, it makes a huge impact on people. They want to buy a product because they think that since so many people are buying it, it must be a good product. This is more prevalent in India because India is a collective culture. It's more prevalent in a country like Italy because Italy is close to India culturally. It is less effective. At the same time, it is very effective in individualistic cultures like those in the US and UK. when you are exhibiting that a large number of people are interested in your products or buying your products, if you are targeting a specific segment, let's say you might have Microsoft and Google as your client, and you may also have small and medium enterprises as your clients, and you're talking to small and medium enterprise to buy your product, then it makes sense to talk about your small and medium enterprise clients first before talking about your bigger clients. And lastly, avoid negative social proof. Focus on the behavior that you want people to adapt rather than showing them behavior that you don't want them to adapt and then telling them, no, please avoid this behavior. So I think this is a good time to take in any questions.
Yes, sir. So there were questions, sir, and I will mold the question in a different way.
Sure.
So Harshit Malkia, he asked on the Facebook, what would be the Indian economic scenario after the pandemic? And if you can mold the question in a way related to our topic, my question would be, sir, do you think that buying behavior will have a positive or a negative impact after this pandemic?
Okay, could you be slightly louder? I got the. You said buying behavior will be what?
So, what will be the impact on buying behavior of Indian consumer after this pandemic?
Okay, so that's a very broad question. At the same time, since it is a big concern, I would like to take that question. I think we have to focus on the parts of the economy that are growing, on the industries that are growing. We have the third or fourth largest economy in the world, and the way people talk about the economy as if it's one animal, in my view, is totally wrong. There are plenty of segments, there are plenty of industries which are going to do extremely well, even better because of the pandemic. Look at it this way. If you think of it in terms of humanitarian crisis, or if you think about it very emotionally, then you will probably not like this point. But the point is, it's happening and you can look at it rationally. Plenty of big players will be bigger after the pandemic by not doing anything special. Why? Just because the weak players would have died. Right? Imagine an industry which has 10 companies. Each company has a market share of 10%. Right? And 5 companies are not very strong, and 5 companies are very strong, they're very well funded, they belong to some big groups. So the weakest 5 companies have got killed because they were not able to sustain themselves during the pandemic period. Well, it's precisely because of that the market shares of the first 5 companies have doubled. Instead of 10%, the market shares have become 20% by doing nothing, just by staying alive. So these companies may see increase in sales, increase in profits because of that optimism. They might hire more people, they might go into newer markets, they might do more capital expenditure. That's one big observation I have, and I'll just tell you the second and last observation now. The second and last observation is that the structure of the economy is going to change. The economy contract a little, it's not going to contract too much in my view. But the point is that there are lots of opportunities if you identify how the structure of the economy is going to change. So there are some companies which are going to do much better precisely because of the pandemic. Google has had a 6-fold increase in searches for premium t-shirts. And I'm wearing a premium t-shirt right now. Why would I be wearing a premium t-shirt at home if I wasn't doing this kind of webinar? So the country of Google has reported this that there's been a six-fold increase in people searching for premium t-shirts. So premium t-shirts is an industry that's going to do very well till not just till everything opens up, but even after that, because of the lag effect and because of the fact that many people will continue to work from home even after the pandemic is over, because companies would be okay with that concept and would want to continue saving money. Another big trend is co-working spaces would, in my view, increase the business 10x. That's going to lead to a lot of companies saving money and then again investing more in their businesses, and that could again be a big spurt. So these are two major observations I had. One is the bigger players are going to get bigger, and the other is some industries are going to fail, and some industries are going to do better precisely because of the pandemic. But ultimately, if these companies don't know invisible selling and behavior economics, the big companies are going to fail against the other companies who know these strategies. So the smartest companies in the world, Google, Apple, Amazon, Netflix, and Facebook, they are taking these strategies very seriously. And anybody can use these strategies and be successful, whether you're a student, you're using it for making a smarter CV, to have a better interview, to getting promoted as an employee, or to make more profits in your startup.
Thank you so much, sir. That's it from the question side. If I can conclude today's webinar as we're wrapping up the time as well.
Yes, so we spoke about an introduction to invisible selling, behavioral economics, and more. We spoke a little bit about how traditional economics is terribly insufficient in making you understand human behavior, whether you want to use human behavior knowledge to influence somebody in your private life, in your business life. And we spoke about one concept of invisible selling, and that is social proof. So I just want to round up by saying two things. One is that people who want to know more about these strategies, or you have queries beyond this webinar, you can send an email to me through my website. You can just use the chat section on my website. To get to my website is very easy. You just got to go to Google and say Dharmendra Rai, and you can read both my books for free. We haven't spoken about the other topic, mind mapping, in this webinar because it's best to handle that topic separately. But both the books that I've written on invisible spelling and mind mapping, you can access them for free on Amazon Kindle. All you have to do is go on Google and say Amazon Dharmendra Rai. I look forward to connecting with you after the webinar, and I take this opportunity to thank Shantanu Sir, Dinesh Sir, Amrita Mam, Mr. Acharya, and the entire team for making this possible.
Thank you so much, sir. Now I would love to conclude the session by the learnings I have personally, and I hope probably all of the listeners and learners have. We learned about the copycat syndrome. We learned more about the social proofing and negative social proofing, and with the fabulous examples of restaurants and Google and Wikipedia. That was one of the most interesting sessions we had till today. And we also have listened to a different observation on the pandemic scenario altogether and the impact on the economy as well. And simultaneously, the take-home mantra would be the importance of the research, the importance of the data, secondary research, the importance of the facts which come up after a good research. And simultaneously, I would humbly thank you for your presence. I humbly thank you for the time you have spent to make us learn and listen all these interesting facts. Thank you so much, sir, for your precious time. And definitely in near future, we would love to connect with you, and we will definitely get your book. And so many questions and so many interesting facts are there. And I personally have n number of questions now, and I'm trying to find the answers in your book. Thank you so much, sir, for your precious time once again. And thank you so much, Shantanu Sir, as well, for connecting, sir, with a large number of audience that we can learn from. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Take care, everybody, and happy invisible selling.